The Saints Row reboot was dead only a few weeks after launch. It disappointed basically everybody and didn't make money after $100 million was spent on it, but Volition recently announced their DLC roadmap for the game, which of course upset players are roasting online because they are shocked that they are still going forward with all of this planned content. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So starting off with this first article, and then I'm going to show off a bunch of tweets. Saints Row roadmap revealed, players shocked it is still alive. I was very sad when this Saints Row reboot came out because I've loved the previous Saints Row games, but this one was just not it. They completely tried to reimagine this franchise and it didn't pay off for them. It says, one of the most disappointing AAA titles of 2022, Saints Row, has suddenly emerged with a DLC roadmap. Starting this May, players will receive several major updates, including free map extensions. I talked about the Forspoken situation a couple of days ago, which was very similar. They announced that they are going to be releasing the In Tanto We Trust DLC in only a couple of weeks, in May, actually right at the beginning. And people were laughing at Square Enix, saying there is no reason to put this content out unless it was like 95% done when the game launched. And I have to agree with the Saints Row reboot, putting out 3, 5, even 10 rounds of DLC will not save it. People are upset with the base game. People are upset with all of the content that already exists, and while yes, it is good to get more DLC, unfortunately, the base content is just awful. It says the game launched last August and the team has been busy addressing the game's technical state and fixing what didn't work as intended ever since. This is probably the reason why its first expansion has been pushed all the way back until May. This was a major problem because yes, it is good that they were trying to fix the issues that existed, but the game should not have launched as buggy and as broken as it did, or else they would have been able to save all this time and been working directly on the DLC. Unfortunately, they just didn't really do a good job with anything regarding this title. Even the launch had its issues. It says if you own the game's expansion pass, you'll be getting all of the content as soon as it's launched. Those include brand new mission campaigns like the Heist in the Hazardous Story or Doc Ketchum's Murder Circus game mode. Apart from that, all Saints Row players will receive free extensions of the Sant Aliso map with additional districts featuring extra gameplay activities alongside new weapons, vehicles, and cosmetics. Now, on one hand, it is good that they are not just completely abandoning this game because there are people who spent their hard-earned money on this title who deserve all of the content that they were promised. But on the other hand, I just don't really see a reason, unless of course they already had a lot of content done and they were like, we're just gonna stick with it. So it is good that they're releasing it, but it's not gonna bring new players in, which I think they're hoping is gonna happen. If this game went on something like Xbox Game Pass, I could see it skyrocketing in interest simply because it's free. Like, if this was on Game Pass, I would totally play it because I already pay for Game Pass and I would be able to judge this game. But unless that happens or it hits a $20 price tag, there's just no way that this is going to, skyrocket in popularity or sell, a massive amount of new copies. Now, of course, though, because they announced this, people have been just laughing at it. Their official tweet has gotten absolutely ratioed and roasted by people saying things like, what about fixing the base game? DLC is pretty useless when co-op doesn't even work properly over 6 months after launch. I've played every Saints Row game with a friend and this one refuses to let me do so without constant crashing or disconnects. It really can't be that hard. And they did respond saying they've dedicated a lot of time to fixes and quality of life updates, but they don't actually say if they fixed the co-op problems or not. Yeah, it's about damn time. I was just wondering about this. So there are some individuals who are looking forward to these DLCs, but then you get into people saying this game is dead AF, and so is Volition. And it is true. I don't see a way that they could save this game. Somebody raised the question, I need to wait until July for improvements? The game has been bugged and broken since release and my challenges don't track. Why am I waiting a year for this to be fixed? And it's true, you should not be buying $60 to $70 games just to have to wait almost a whole year from release to get a half-decent, at least playable product. People are even saying you guys should retcon the reboot, no offense, and hey, I completely agree with that. I am forever going to pretend like this game doesn't exist because I love Saints Row and I don't want to think about Saints Row and then have to remember this absolute catastrophe of a situation. I would love for this to not be canon. I would love for them to just send this off into the sunset and we never have to hear about it again. Are they going to do that? No, but it would be hilarious and I agree. They should totally retcon the reboot. Somebody pointed out that they wrote Slaycation in their article. I am once again wondering what the F happened to Saints Row. This game single-handedly turned Volition into a Gearbox support studio, and they're still doubling down on the awful humor. I feel like it's just because they know that if they change their humor now, it still wouldn't save the state of the game. So they're just gonna double and triple down if that's what they have to do. For a game that cost over $100 million, we all expected better. And looking at the Metacritic scores, they haven't gone up any since launch. I mean, the PlayStation 5 version is sitting at a 2.6. The PC version is sitting at a 2.5. The Xbox Series X version is sitting at a 2.9. So there are no scores here above a 3.0. Everybody was pretty disappointed with this title, and you know, this DLC, I don't see it doing anything for this game. It's just going to be the additional content for the 5 people who are still playing it, but unfortunately for Volition, I don't think it's going to bring new players in like they're hoping it will. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.